Well, this should be another good one in South Philadelphia as the Sixers welcome the Houston Rockets to town. A very, very competitive one this should be. Welcome to the PHLY Sixers pregame show, live from the Xfinity studio, along with Rich. I'm Devon Bree, the president of basketball operations. All of you hanging out with us on this Thursday night for this fun. Should be an offensive, well, we hope some defense is there too on the Sixers side in particular. Matchup as well. We are presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Make sure you sign up using code PHLY365. We'll give you our pregame picks courtesy of Bet365 towards the end of the show with some starters, some updates on some things there. We'll also have to talk about defense optional here tonight, how this one's going to look, but defense is going to have to step up in some way, shape, or form this evening. But we do start off with Rich discussing. This should be a fun one.
It should be, unless you're like me, man, and you watch a lot of games with me and you see how distressed I get when the Sixers get beat on the offensive glass. It's just a helpless feeling. Maybe I shouldn't be that helpless because offensive rebounding is up around the entire league. Well, these guys are better at offensive rebounding than pretty much any team in the history of basketball. Now, the one thing I will say, there is a big caveat here, is that Steven Adams is not playing, and he is their best offensive rebounder.
That's one.
But if you are a team that, like the Sixers are a very good offensive rebounding team, not a good defensive rebounding team. As much as I want to give them, hey, a little bit of slack, hey, everybody's good at offensive rebounding. That's a league-wide trend now. Everybody crashes the glass. No, Sixers stink on the defensive glass. They're bad. They're good on the offensive glass. Like, that's like Dominic Barlow, right? Very good offensive rebounder, super helpful in that regard. Andre Drummond to an extent too. On the defensive glass, Bona as well. I'm pretty sure all of the rebounds he gets are offensive rebounds. Defensive glass, they're not very good. And that is a big concern for this game because the Houston Rockets, Devon, they have built their entire offense out of missing shots and then getting the rebound. They are rebounding on the season 39.3. But you know what? I'm going to round up. 40% of their misses. Every shot they take, 40% of them, they're getting it back. And it's funny, man. They shoot like a lot of mid-range jumpers. Like, it's not a particularly aesthetically pleasing offensive team, I would say, outside of Kevin Durant, who's always been
one of the best of all time. Clearly.
One of the best of all time, and clearly as smooth as it gets, still is doing that at 37 years old. Very impressive. But they just hammer you on the offensive glass. So I assume the Sixers at shoot around and at walk through and the pregame speech that Nick Nurse is going to give. It's all about, guys, we got to get the rebound because if we do not play, if we play our normal type of game on the defensive glass, they are going to bombard us and they are going to get offensive rebound and second chance point after second chance point. So that's going to be a big thing tonight.
It really is. And to hear that Steven Adams news, of course, that's crucial for everything tonight. That said, he's not the only one. As Rich just laid out, there's so many lengthy, athletic, big guys in that front court, guards as well, because Amen Thompson is, in fact, a guard that will help out on the glass. So the Sixers are going to have to make sure that they are really locked in tonight of putting a body on someone that's wearing whatever color jersey they're wearing tonight. I think the Sixers are in blue tonight, so Rockets should be in white. So putting a body on somebody in white with Rockets across their chest because they get after it. And we see it with all these other teams. But as Rich just pointed out, 40%, an amazing number of opportunities there off of misses for you on your end of the floor for the offense. So they have to find a way to do that. And you have to find a way to put a body on somebody. So as we look at Joel Embiid, Dominic Barlow, Paul George, whoever, I still don't know who the starters yet are, everybody. So I'm just saying Paul George and Dem Bona, who we often talk about. And certainly when it comes to Jabari Walker, you never question his effort because he is one that gets there defensively and offensive rebound. But everybody's going to have to contribute tonight, including VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey. Hit the boards.
Guys, I need like 3 or 4 from both of you. Like maybe VJ, maybe 5 or 6. Quentin Grimes
will get you 3 or 4. He does that.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
He will do that. Yes.
as much as people have picked apart Quentin Grimes' game, I shouldn't even say picked apart, noticed Quentin Grimes' inconsistencies. He is good for, in a lot of Sixers wins, getting one of those tough contested rebounds. So I'm looking at their starting lineup, and I'm going to spin this positively, everybody, in a little bit. But real quick, their starting lineup, I don't know who's starting tonight, but I'm looking at the depth chart on ESPN.com. Amen Thompson, 6'7". Kevin Durant, 6'11", or 7 feet, whatever he is.
I'm going 7 feet.
Whatever.
He can deny it if he wants.
That's been a storyline for the last 15 years of the NBA.
It's an amazing one,
that he's lying about his height, and he's actually a few inches taller. Regardless, you're not blocking that shot. Tyrese, 6'8", and rugged, too. That's the thing. 6'8" and 6'7" are the two smallest guys in their lineup, and it's Amen Thompson and Tyrese. Those two guys are rugged.
Nasty.
Then you got Jabari Smith, 6'10", and then Sengun, 6'11". So again, like Tyrese Maxey and PJ Edgecombe are going to be at a size disadvantage. Quentin Grimes is going to be at a size disadvantage in this game. Okay, so that's part of it. And look, they're going to have to rebound. But we talk about the possession game a lot. Regardless of whether the Sixers are shooting well or their opponents are shooting well, that's something you always want to win. You want to take more shots than the other team. 2 ways to do it. Number one, we just talked about it, offensive rebounding. Don't like the battle there in that regard. For the Sixers, they need to mitigate the damage. Okay, the other one, though, is turnovers. And the Rockets are the second worst team at taking care of the ball in the NBA. Now, is that much of a surprise? No, I mean, they lost their point guard before the season, right? You know, Fred VanVleet was probably a little bit overtaxed on that Rockets team last year because he was the only guy who could like get you into a set and dribble, but losing him
is a big deal.
It's a big deal. And I think they've done a nice job of working around his absence because not having him the entire year is a huge blow. They go with Amen Thompson as the point guard, but it's like I was saying, it's clunky. It's a lot of just keep putting your head down, getting to the basket, and if it's a terrible shot, fine, just go rebound it and get a better shot after that. Part of the deal with that, though, is that without Fred VanVleet and without some of the shooting on this team, they turn the ball over a lot. It's a clunky sort of offense. As we know, Sixers have been pretty good at forcing turnovers. The other night in the
24 the last game.
And 22, I believe, the game before it, too.
Yep.
And, you know, I think we all know that there's a balance, right? I know people get angry when they give up open shots because they gamble a little bit too much or they help a little bit too much. And that's fine. I will say, in last game, in the third quarter, you and I brought up a couple of possessions where it just felt like the Sixers helped too much. Like you can't leave Grayson Allen wide open on the perimeter. You can't leave Devin Booker on the perimeter. I will say, when you look back at the stats of that game, though, that's an offensive loss more than a defensive loss. They forced enough turnovers. So I think part of the battle tonight, and I agree with you, it should be a fun one, is whose style can win out. Can the Sixers get a bunch of easy baskets because the Rockets can't get a shot up because they're turning the ball over and they're unable to shoot? Or are the Rockets just going to be too big and too physical for the Sixers? They always say in boxing, man, styles make fights. We'll see if it's a good one tonight.
Yeah, should be a good one, should be a fun one, and one that's going to be a challenge, of course. So offensively, what do you want to see from the Sixers? With Joel Embiid was probable, so we already know about him. Paul George, we think he's going to play. That said, offensively, what do you want to see? We saw some struggles from Tyrese Maxey in the last game, second night of a back-to-back. So how do you feel tonight offensively? We'll get to the defense in the second segment, but offensively, what would you like to see from the Sixers against this Houston defense?
So Houston is really long, and they're one of the best defenses in the league as well. Top 5, I believe, on that end. I wonder if it's a team that this could be wrong about. Maybe they're too tall for Tyrese Maxey. Maybe he's just a little too fast for them, and he can get the right matchups. But no, man, I want to see them work their offense through a good mix of Tyrese, VJ, Joel. Maybe get PG running off some screens as well. I mean, I think just getting back to basics with a full lineup now. Like, I think in this past back-to-back, you did not have Paul George for either one of those games. Mm-hmm. You did not have Joel Embiid for one of those games, and Tyrese Maxey struggled. Be nice to get Tyrese some easier shots, you know, and I hope some of that has to be him, because Tyrese Maxey is never, at this stage in his career, like, he's going to have to do some of the shot creation load. But to get him some easier looks earlier on. Hopefully Joel is ready to go and physical with Sengun and Jabari Smith and whoever guards him. Capella, I believe, will get some minutes in this game as well. But creating some open shots for Tyrese Maxey, because again, as much as he struggled and as much as he has been a big reason that they've lost 3 of their last 4 games because he's laid 3 eggs. I think we all know he's playing a ton of minutes, and it is a little bit understandable. But obviously, don't like watching Maxey struggle. Finding a way to get him some easier shots and get back on track, that's a huge deal.
Yeah, and look, Houston's on the front end of a back-to-back. They have a game tomorrow night as well, a quick 2-game road trip for them back-to-back. So you wonder if they, in fact, I think it's Detroit tomorrow that they play. But that being said, will they be one of those teams that kind of looks ahead, even though they see what's right in front of you, but they look ahead a bit because of what's on the matchup tomorrow as well. So huge game for the Sixers. Huge opportunity here. Offensively, no Joel Embiid in the last game. Tyrese Maxey also just struggling as he did. You got some big games production-wise from VJ Edgecombe and Kelly Oubre. What's in store for tonight? And I'm also curious if Paul George is playing, which I think he is, what's the starting lineup look like with Kelly Oubre playing as well as he had these last few games? So with that being said,
one other quick thing too, because we talk about the clutch games a lot.
Yeah,
Houston, if you look at their statistical profile, it's pretty good. Like it's sorry, man, I got
that's all right.
Bug in my throat.
That's all right.
But if you look at Houston's statistical profile, pretty dominant team, like one of the best 3 or 4 teams in the league. But if you look at their overall record, what are they? They're 26-15. Some of that is that they have not been that great in crunch time. And I mentioned Fred VanVleet, having to go to KD and Sengun just every single time and not having the options. They have been a bad clutch team, and that's why their record is a little more pedestrian than their overall statistical profile would say.
All right, so let's take our first pause here on the show, our only one of the pregame. When we come back, we'll talk about defensively how to slow down that offense with Kevin Durant leading things, but the do-it-all center that is Alperen Sengun on the other side. It's the PHLY Sixers pregame. Rockets in town to take on the Sixers. Yes, should be a fun one in South Philadelphia. We'll hear from Kyle Newbeck on the other side as well. It's the PHLY Sixers pregame show presented by Bet365.
And guys, what if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And what if you could keep it at the same price for not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 years? That is the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Imagine Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together, that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense, Bruce Willis style. And that lets you stream the game even when your family is online. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and Xfinity's best equipment is included. Take it from me, a lot can change in 5 years. Championships are won, records are broken, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi, it should stay reliable and the price should stay put. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply.
And need to tell you about Bet365, our presenting sponsor here on the show. Whatever the moments, never ordinary. At Bet365, over 90 million users worldwide and 780,000 events each year. You can watch those, view those live there on the app. Early payout offers in the NBA and the NHL. NBA, when your team hits 20 points and you had them as that team, early payout for you right there at Bet365. Tonight for the games, you get a profit boost of 30%. That's a plus 30% profit boost on any NBA game tonight. It has to be 3 legs or more for your parlay. So make sure you study everything right so you can get your winnings here this evening with the NBA basketball. New customers, breaking news. If you want to jump in on the action, you can jump in. Get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose, only at Bet365. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up. And those bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more, including the NFL futures with only a couple more weekends left, right at Bet365. Make sure you are 21 plus, physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Back here on the PHLY Sixers pregame show, Rich, Bree, I'm Devon. All of you, we see your chats in there. How you feeling about your team tonight against this Houston Rockets squad? Well, if you need a little bit more info, let's check in with Kyle Neubeck from the arena and see what he has to say, from Nick Nurse to all the things that he has been able to gather pregame before this big game.
Big storyline on the Rockets end tonight. Steven Adams, who allows them to play some of these big bully ball type lineups, is out for an extended period with an ankle issue. So the Rockets are going smaller, although small for them is still 6'8", 6'9", 6'10" guys all over the floor. Nick Nurse talks about the challenge of playing that type of Rockets team tonight.
I'm hoping with Adams being out, they're not just killing everybody as much on the offensive glass, because they're #1 in the league, right? And he's a big part of that, but also they also have a lot of other guys that offensive rebound very well. I think you're right. I think they will switch quite a bit. We got to go to our package of offense that plays against switching. I think they'll give Joe a lot of attention. I think they'll be physical and they'll send bodies at him. So our spacing and passing and cutting is going to have to be really good as well.
Elsewhere in Sixers news, Tyrese Maxey said after Tuesday's game, in which he really struggled against the Phoenix Suns, that he was tired. He's been logging a ton of minutes. He's been at or near the top of the minutes leaderboard for players around the NBA this year. So Nick Nurse was asked about, is that a problem? How do you work around that? Here's what he had to say.
Hopefully we can get to a point where we can cut his minutes down some, right? I think try to sneak in a few longer stints of him resting. I really would like him to be super fresh to play the last 8-9 minutes of the game. A little bit more fresh than maybe he's been, but he's done a lot of work and he's carried a big load.
All right, that'll do it for Kyle Neubeck live from the arena, checking in. Nick Nurse with a little cameo a few times in there. What stood out to you? Go ahead.
It is kind of funny that he's talking about limiting Tyrese Maxey's minutes when he hasn't limited Tyrese Maxey's minutes. And look, I am probably more sympathetic to Nick Nurse in that regard because they need Tyrese Maxey to survive. And frankly, for a lot of this season, they have not had Joel Embiid or Paul George as well. They have them tonight. Spoiler alert. But yeah, he has not done a ton to limit his minutes. So it's just kind of funny to hear him talking about that. And then the other thing, talking about the plays that they run against switching defenses, I think that's been one of their biggest weaknesses all year. So at least it's on his mind, I guess. But, it's kind of, I'll believe it when I see it type of things from him.
And if Tyrese Maxey is tired, where's the offense going to come from? And how much does he have? And look, they have 2 more weeks before 2.5 weeks before the All-Star break. So got to get through they got to fight through that right now. I understand he's been logging a lot of minutes, and maybe I was a little unfair the other night when you were talking about his minutes, especially on the back-to-back. They've got a lot of time left and some games that they need to win. So hopefully against this Houston team tonight, he can muster up some of that. Defensively, though, how do you try to slow them down with no point guard? But Reed Sheppard, he was a punching bag on night 1. Since then, he has really found his rhythm with this team, where they have also helped him out, where he's not on the ball as much. He's playing a lot of off ball. He's hitting big 3-pointers for this basketball team. He has shown a lot as to why he was selected 3rd overall in the draft last summer. Not 20, not 25. He was 24. How do you slow them down tonight?
I think you have to attack their dribble. Yeah. I mean,
they turn the ball over, as you said.
Yeah, they turn the ball over, but you got to be smart. And I think, okay, so Kevin Durant, can't leave him.
Nope.
Reed Sheppard, that's another one you can't leave. But they do turn the ball over a lot. And look, when you have these bigger teams, it kind of reminds me of the Sixers with Ben Simmons and Embiid early on. Like, that team used to throw the ball all over the gym, and they were a great defensive team like this Rockets team, and that's how they were able to get 50 wins. But they did turn the ball over, and they made you pull your hair out a little bit when they were struggling on offense. Now, this Sixers team doesn't turn the ball over as much, but they don't have the physical advantages that they do. Like, the defense isn't always as good every single night. So that would be a big part of it. I guess you think Oubre and Barlow are going to get the Durant matchup for a lot of the game?
Yeah, I would think Barlow starts off with him and probably have Oubre chasing around Thompson to try to disrupt some things there. To your point of the point of attack defense from the Sixers. He's the one that's going to have it a lot. Let him pressure up on him and Thompson, make him pick up his dribble and disrupt their actions. And maybe you can get them down to some late clock situations where they have to, look, you have one of the greatest of all time. Kevin Durant can get a shot off with 3 seconds and it's cool. You're not worried about it. You give yourself a pretty good percentage chance of making that shot there. That said, you have to live with it. And also defensively, when they do that, Alperen Sengun works a lot of their offense. So he's going to pull Joel Embiid away from the basket a ton.
It's going to bring the ball up. It's going to run pick and roll.
How is Joel going to be able to respond to all of that movement that he does, the fake dribble handoffs, the creativity with his handle like a guard, the way he moves at that size, and then getting others involved? And to your point, the Sixers don't have a lot of rim protection when there's no Joel Embiid on the floor. Guys give effort. Oubre, Barlow, Edgecombe, Maxey. We've seen fantastic blocks from them all this season. But again, Joel's going to be pulled away from the basket on these. How's that going to work? And then lastly, for the Sengun piece, when he does get it on the lower block, Joel has not been lifting up as much, and he's been giving up a lot of easy interior buckets, especially even to his man that are not as good as Sengun. I'm curious to see if he gets that little bit of extra juice in this matchup because of what Sengun can do on the offensive end.
So there are different types of big men that I worry about. You always worry about Joel getting pulled out on the perimeter, especially now, right? Because I think the best possible defensive matchup for him is Jarrett Allen. Jarrett Allen, who does most of his work from the dunker spot. He's down low. He's not much of a shooting threat. Joel can help off him and sort of be smart and quarterback the whole defense from the back line. Okay, last game, that was 2 games ago. Last game, he plays against Jay Huff, who is not a star, but is a legit pick and pop threat and a guy who can put the ball on the floor. That's a little bit scary. The guy tonight, though, Sengun, he's not as much of a shooter, is the thing, Devon. But he's so versatile, and they run so much of his offense through him. So can Joel can he thread the needle between, okay, I don't have to be too afraid of his 3-point shot, but him on the perimeter is also still very dangerous. He's a great passer. Yep. He can obviously get in the dribble handoff game, and then he can drive Joel too, right? He's been
ball
doing
fake,
He's
man.
been doing it all year. He's going to be an all-star. He's a terrific player. So that is a little bit scary. One other note too, because you mentioned Barlow earlier. This is the last game where Jabari Walker and Dominic Barlow can play on their 2-way contracts unless
together.
No, I think they only have, I got that wrong. They have 1 more game after this. So I think they have 4 more spots with the 2 of them, unless they sign a guy to a 10-day contract. The rules are different if you have 15 players on the roster. So I would expect Daryl Morey, the trade deadline is in a couple weeks, so you can do the 10-day before.
2 weeks from tonight.
10 days, not 2 weeks. I can even do that math. So you can squeeze a 10-day contract, and then the rules change a little bit where you'd be able to play Barlow and Walker the entire time during that stretch. Now, you're going to have to convert them at some point because when you have 15 players, then it turns into how many days do they each have individually. And that clock is going to run out pretty soon. Like you're not allowed to have guys on 2-way contracts and just play them in your rotation.
It wasn't supposed to be like this.
The entire season.
Right? Yeah.
And actually, we had Mark Stein, who does a lot of work for us at DLLS and ALLCITY and appears on our show sometimes. On his Substack, he did mention that he believes both Barlow and Walker are going to get their contracts converted at some point. So just a little note there.
Yeah, I was looking at the guy Keith. What is it, Keith Smith?
Keith Smith.
Yeah, Keith Smith. He keeps updating things with this. So even if you want to check out what he has to say, feel free to go do that. Let's get to the starters because I think I brought this up to you a little bit earlier, Rich. Of Oubre has been playing well. Barlow has also been playing well. But what happens? Here's what happened. Number 1. Paul George and Joel Embiid are in, everybody, tonight. So what you get is your last season minus the VJ Edgecombe part of it. You get your full starting roster that we thought it would be at the beginning of the year. Dominic Barlow is now coming off the bench with Quentin Grimes and the combination of, as we know, Drummond or Bona, whoever gets that nod. So big storyline right there. Kelly Oubre in for Dominic Barlow. We at least have our answer for tonight.
So do you think that is matchup dependent, or do you think it could just be a reward that Kelly, again, he was working off the injury, and he played really well in the 2 games.
And again, he was injured.
Yeah, for sure.
He shouldn't lose his starting spot because he was injured. He was playing really well. And since he has come back and gotten those extended minutes, he has played really well. So I think it's more of just the reputation of that's my starter, and no knock to Dominic Barlow, who can still give you 20 minutes, 25 minutes, depending on the night off the bench. You have that different type of energy coming off the bench, not the scoring, but he's going to give you all that other stuff where you do have the scoring, at least in title and the expectation from Quentin Grimes as he is coming off the bench. So Houston, as we've talked about with their length and their height, that's a big lineup. You would think that Barlow would fit best in their starting group, but instead what you do have here is Kelly Oubre back in the lineup for the Philadelphia 76ers. So very interesting to see this one play out.
Yeah, it seems like it's
not wrong.
It's just a recognition.
Yeah, it's not wrong.
Hey, you're our starter, but you're working your way back from the injury. You weren't 100%. For a while, you couldn't play the minute load that we needed from you. And then he has those 2 games at the beginning of the week. Okay, feels like you're getting close to 100%. Go ahead, you get that spot. One other thing I would like to say, just to piggyback off of Devon and Kyle and Derek did a great job on yesterday's trade deadline show. Do not trade Kelly Oubre at the trade deadline. You guys know, if you've been listening to me for a few years, you know that I've had a checkered history with Kelly Oubre. I've been up, I've been a little bit down on him. No, the guy is a helpful player, and the reason that you would trade him is primarily to salary dump him. If you can find a wing that is better or better fitting than him, by all means. I don't think you're going to be able to do that. Kelly Oubre is good. You have a team that, again, they've been up and down this year, but they have a shot in the playoffs. If you can keep everybody healthy, I'd like to see them compete. I'd like to see you send a good message to Tyrese Maxey that here's your reward. We are going to pay the luxury tax this year. Hold on to Kelly Oubre. For the love of God, he's good. You have 2 playable wings. He is one of them. Keep him.
Agreed. Agreed. Go check out our trade deadline show that we discussed on Wednesday's show. If you get a chance, please check that out. Spread the word that we are here with you for the Sixers daily 3 p.m. shows, pre and post game, 30 minutes before the game, 10 minutes after the game when it goes final on whatever night or day that may in fact be. Tonight for us, we will be here 10 minutes after the game for the Sixers and the Rockets. Real quick, before we get to our pregame picks, 2 years ago today,
I saw this.
2 years ago today, one Joel Embiid and the 76ers welcome a rookie by the name of Victor Wembanyama to town. And the video goes as Joel's walking out of the tunnel. He sizes up Wembanyama while Wembanyama is not looking. And he's like, that's a big dude. Kind of gives that face like, I
don't usually do that.
Nah. But then I do this. I go hang 70 on the guy trying to slow me down. So 2 years ago today, Joel Embiid hung 70. Look at this video that Bree has for us. He almost walked into somebody from the production crew on the floor, sizing up Wembanyama right there, saying, man, look at that dude. I'm 7'1".
What a night.
7'2". And then he goes out there and just drops a cool 70, makes it was welcome to the league moment for Wembanyama, if you will.
I forgot about that part of it. What a night for Joel. That is hilarious. Obviously he scores 70 points. Just cooking like I've almost never seen.
Yeah.
Wemby had, by the way, like Wemby is the best defensive player in my opinion in the NBA in year 3. Had nothing for Joel that night though. Absolutely nothing. Just got bullied in every single way. And then there was the nice moment after the game where Brett Brown was there, and I think it was Brett and Furkan maybe, and Tobias. I forget who the holdovers from the Brett Brown era was, but I don't know. It was a very nice night.
Cool.
Unfortunately, things went downhill from there, but hopefully we're back on the way up.
Cooked that team that night to drop 70. All right, let's get to the pregame picks presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment's never ordinary. Bet365 got the win in last game. Unfortunately, the Sixers did not, but we did here on the show. Let's see what Bree has to start off. Bree has Maxey finding that groove. 3 made threes. Amen Thompson with 7+ rebounds. I like it. Yeah. Huh? You like that?
I like that.
All right, I like that one. That's a +135. I went heavy. Joel Embiid, 25.5 points. Over was the number, 25.5. I went over. Sengun double-double, though. Because of what they do on the glass, no Steven Adams. He's going to get in there and get those rebounds. Mine was a plus number for you there at Bet365. So if you want to put those together and you want to combine them at Bet365, you can do so. Plus, get a plus 30% profit boost at Bet365 on any NBA game tonight in the association. New customers sign up, use code PHLY365. You get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose on your first bet. Deposit $10, place a bet for $5, and you get $200 win or lose from Bet365. All right, that'll do it for us. How you guys feeling? Win? Loss? This one's kind of it's kind of tough. This one's going to be a tough one. I can't wait to see how this one plays out. We'll be back again 10 minutes after the game goes final, right here for you to react. The only place you can react to the game here on the PHLY Sixers post game, presented by Bet365 for Bree, Kyle, Derek, and the arena, and of course Rich right here as well. I'm Devon. We'll see you after the game. Enjoy.
We all silly like the mayor.